Hit me!
Jingle Balls 2024-ish. Yeah.
You've got to throw some cold water on this situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will.
And Tony. That sounded totally believable.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Oh, indeed. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Another edition of the thing nobody asked for, and we're delivering anyway. Another edition of NetHeads. My name is Will.
And I'm Tony.
If you want to take part in the program, you can one of many ways. One of them is just to, chat wherever the heck you is, which right now, I got to be honest, Tony, I don't know where we're streaming out of because I just now realized out of the corner of my eye, as I was looking to see, okay, it's at least streaming out. It's going where it supposedly should. It's that time you have to now release and let go unto the universe and not worry about it, right? I realized out of the corner of my eye, the TikTok integration that Restream, what we use to broadcast out to multiple places, had a sign-up option, and I did. I signed up. So we might be going out.
Now I want to see.
Will Wilkins's, nobody wants to see you do that. What's a NetHeads Jingle Balls, everybody? I'll tell you what it is. It's something completely new. I realized that I've sort of been maintaining two separate versions of the same podcast now for the better part of at least a year, if not more, since Tony is kindly agreed to sit in for the times when Trent is not here, and then I've got to do that awkward dance of the guy between two chicks, if you know what I'm saying. So, it's comfortably awkward for
Who's
everybody.
our what now?
Say, don't worry about it. Just listen to what the guy is saying. Nod, look pretty like you're supposed to. All right. So I decided as long as we're gonna have two versions of something, until the time we're all three on the same goddamn show. If I'm doing a Nagathon with Trent, I'm going to do the Jingle Balls with you. That's what it's going to be. Now, what is the Jingle Balls? I have no idea. I have absolutely no clue, but it's holiday themed, just like our heads, sir. By the way, I would like to compliment you upon your chapeau. It is
Thank
fine.
you.
I like it. How many of the Avengers are truly represented on it?
I think it's just the big
I
six.
don't want you to take it off. So.
I think it's just the big six.
Okay, very good. And I am once again wearing the Abomination, as it's known, which is I wanted a Christmassy, elvish type Spider-Man cap, right? I wanted one real bad, but I couldn't find anything that fit the bill of what was in my mind. So I had the audacity, sir, to make one of my own. So this is my custom amazing Spider-Man holiday hat to go with, of course, the Spider-Man.
Okay, so you 3D printed the logo.
Yes, I did. I 3D printed the logo.
Okay.
Then I painted it, and then I made this Abomination, which, by the way, when I thought I was getting fuzzy red material,
You got poofy red.
This was not only was it goofy red, my friend. Yes, I think that's the right way to put it. Pennywise the Clownish is what it was. So you see yours, you bought it. Everything's at the right level. Everything is perfect as it should be.
Except for I feel like my head's oblong.
No, I think if nothing, it sort of balances it out for you, man. That's what I think. Yeah. But for me, I literally had to take scissors to this and give the entire thing a trim as well. And there are still spots that I miss. Like every once in a while, if I shift this around, I think it's on this side, a red strand is going to pop down. But, I was just, I was feeling the hat earlier because I try to alternate the hats with the years. So that's what we're doing now. And, I just thought, well, let's, if you're going to commit to the spider theme, you got to go all in. So it's got to be the Christmas jumper as well, or holiday sweater, Christmas sweater as we call them here. Do
Whereas
you
I'm
have
only
it?
wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah, you know what? When I did Knockathon with Trent, all I did was I wore it was like a 16-bit, um, it was from Loot Crate. It was like a
Okay.
16-bit video game version of a space setting. There was a lunar lander and aliens and
Okay.
things going on. So it's the perfect t-shirt for the holidays, you know? I have that one, and the other one I love that I got from Loot Crate is the one I call the Death Kitties, because from a distance it looks like it is a white skull on a black t-shirt a la Sid in Toy Story.
Mhm.
But as you get close, you realize every white element of the skull is a cat. It's just
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so they just inverted them. Also, I got to admit, this is not the best show to be going out everywhere because typically I've had the convenience of setting up a 2-shot where, you know, I don't have to worry if I don't want to about clicking back between you and I. You know, I
Sure.
can go to Tony, I can go to me, I can have both of us up there. But unfortunately, for some reason, I can't get my camera to work on that angle. There it is right there, folks. This is what happens when you decide to do a show at the last minute. I also want to apologize for the apparent wheeze that I have got. Getting the old, winter feelings, I guess, is what it is. So I do have a bit of a wheeze. And I got to tell you, too, you've missed out on... No, you haven't. Actually, Tony, I love this because you're the only person I can say you missed out on all the fun because, no, you didn't. You've been having all kinds of fun
Oh,
on
I've been
your
having
own.
so much fun.
It's so... I'm like... I mean, you know, I would almost equate it in some ways to, like, you know, a scene where somebody just walks in and straight up kicks you square in the nuts. And then for some reason, they take another swing. That's really how and I'm not saying that to shit on you. And I am not making fun of you, my friend.
No, I get it.
The thing is, the only thing I will tell you, I'm not a man of faith. I'm not a man of God. If there is any type of higher power, I just think it's the power we have within ourselves to persevere. That said, if nothing else, I promise you, there will be a time you will look back at this time and you will be proud of how you got through it all.
Sure.
I can speak with that wisdom because we all have these challenging moments. So take that
A
with
lot.
a grain of salt, or, you know, whatever type of alcohol you may have out of frame that you're just secretly sipping continuously. I just want to say that. But, you know, last week, all that said, it's Nutcracker weekend. This whole pickup show is being done because my wife is sitting in the theater right now, and I know that, you know, I've got at least until 6:45. I've already organized all the presents that I need to do for wrapping. I'm 3D printing up some special clamps that will allow me to mount the wrapping paper roll to the side of the island so that I'll be able to just stand and have a paper a package folding factory of like 2 or 3 rolls just laid out. It's a big island in the kitchen, I'll admit. Not to be gauche. But so I'll be looking forward to wrapping presents tomorrow morning during the next show. And my wife just absolved me from going to the last show as well, because they're going out to dinner afterwards, but it's a girls only date. So it's like suddenly I'm this anchor that has to be carried from one place and then dropped off at another. So yeah, I don't know why there was the sudden rush to do it tonight, but I figure it's the last Saturday before the holidays. And if nothing else, I wanted to be able to, one, talk to you solidly before the end of the year, because who knows what's going to happen next week with Boxing Day. Although I got to be honest, I would love to do an episode of NetHeads next week, just because I want to do the stupid dick thing, and I just want to title it The Final NetHeads, and the first thing in description just says, of 2024, you know what I mean?
Right.
So he didn't really lie to us, but he lied to us.
It was a dad joke lie.
Yeah, man. So anyway, I wanted to be able to get together with you as well. After you have been through a lot, we're not going to talk about your stuff though. Not because
you've been through a lot, but we don't want to talk. It's not.
I don't think with everything you're going through, I just don't think there's a point in reiterating it. You know what I mean? It's just like
No, but let's say it this way in the realm, and I'll be honest with you. The fact that I know that my audio and my video is not synced is driving me nuts, and I apologize for that in advance. But it's not the problem of looking back and saying, okay, all of these things happen because a lot of stuff has happened. And you can look back and say, I survived it. But it being in the moment and dealing with it in the moment is the only time that I don't care, that I want to just not exist and not talk about it. So if anyone ever wants to ask questions or anything, that's perfectly fine. I have no problem talking about it.
Well, the thing you see now, first of all, I have to tell you, everything you said after driving me nuts, okay, I didn't hear because instantly my mind just goes, it's driving me nuts, which is the response of a pirate asked why he has the steering
Or
wheel
on
on his belt buckle.
You just called it a steering wheel. Did you seriously just call it?
Well, I don't know what it's called, man. A what?
Well, I was gonna say but that's wrong now too.
Okay, see, no, it's driving me nuts. So, so I didn't hear anything you said after that, and I apologize.
helm?
But also, I would tell you that I was also coyfully and toyfully going to be. Ooh, I'm going to pen that one. I was going to say, but everything you are willing to share about it, they can just find you on your socials of Mr. Marvelane. And,
Yeah.
you can find out plenty of information there. But no, it in the most unimpressive way of annoying everybody that listens to this. No, I wanted to make it a little bit about me, Tony, only because I went through an experience I never had before,
Okay.
and it was a very humbling thing before the holidays, considering the types of food experiences we would have during the holidays. But immediately after last week's Nagathon, which, by the way, L-cysteine is a wonderful drug for our natural occurring amino acid that you can take in pill form that is also wonderful with alleviating most hangover symptoms. So take that with a grain of salt, or L-cysteine, if you will.
Which is a good description of what the last episode was about, right?
Well, I mean, I don't want to get into it, and I don't want to say there might be a little cheer still flowing in the cup, but after the week I've had, I don't care, and nobody's home. So, and I got to keep my pants on. So, all that said, I immediately went out there, and, it was one of those wonderful things where it's like, oh, you had time to go sit in there and talk with, your friend and be, Mr. Internet Celebrity, as my wife likes to taunt me with. And I sat down, and then immediately I stretched, and I realized I was stretching because I was getting a pain in my left side. And I was like, wait a second. Well, what the hell's going on here? What is this?
Mm-hmm.
Going through my mind, what did I eat? But it's there. And it's that kind of pain where the thing I would equate it to is like when somebody is just like poking you relentlessly and won't let up. It's that kind of pain, but it's persistent.
Okay.
It's always there. And while we're doing this, I'm jabbing myself in the side, trying to see if that is actually accurate, if that is the pain. I'd like to confirm that is the pain. For some reason, I've been an idiot sitting here poking myself in my side. So that happened, and then after day 3 of not really being able to sleep because of it occurring, and then being uncomfortable during the day, I got to day 3, and I'm just like, that's it. Urgent care, here I come. I don't know what they're going to tell me. I at least know it's not appendicitis. And it turns out I had what is known as diverticulitis.
Ooh. Say no
Oh,
more.
You're familiar?
Not for myself, but I've had many friends and family that have had it.
And it sucks because one, it's one of those can occur more frequently in those over 40. It's like, well, thank you for that reminder. How long it's been since I've passed that road marker. But also just annoying because it's just like, oh yeah, there's a part of the intestine, the diverticulitis.
Diverticulitis.
The
Diverticuli.
Yeah, let's go with that. It's like little pockets along the intestines, but sometimes they can be blocked or they can get infected. And so that's essentially what I have. But I got an inflammation. And they're like, you got to go on a low-fiber diet. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And, oh, yeah, all that stuff that makes Christmas fun, you can forget about that. I'm like, wonderful. What's the treatment? Here's some antibiotics. Good luck with your guts. It's like, really? This is where we are in this day and age? But at least it wasn't anything else. And I'm happy to say that I think finally the last 24 hours is the first pain-free that I've had. But also I will say that is without taking like Tylenol, because although I got they even prescribed it to me. I was shocked at the pharmacy. I'm like, oh yeah, you have 2 of them? I'm like, what's the other one? Acetaminophen? I'm like, seriously? I have Tylenol at home, but okay. After the first day, I didn't really have to take it, which was good. But that's just been a good time here since the last time you might have heard me on an episode of NetHeads. That's
well, I'm glad.
fabulous.
I'm glad they're figured something out. That's important.
And more importantly, I'm glad it's nothing like serious before the holidays. Because, it'd be one thing, if it is just something like this. It'd be another thing if, like the entire water system in your house went out. That'd be a completely different story. You know what I'm saying? So, oddly, there are things to be I know Thanksgiving's already come and gone, but there are things to be thankful for, right?
Yes, there absolutely are.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'm still here. I'm still surviving. I'm okay. Everyone's okay. Christmas is still happening. Huzzah. I even still fit into the Spider-Man jumper. It's even the small wins, my friend. I got to stop calling it a jumper because it's not, I am nowhere near the UK.
I'm going to be honest between you wearing the sweater and you were talking earlier and you were just going like this on the camera. And I was like, okay, yeah. Keep talking about it.
Doing?
You were doing something and you were, I think you were rubbing your chest for whatever reason, but it looked like you were squeezing your chest.
Oh, that's funny because I know that was just probably a nervous type of tick, some type of external stimuli to get me a little focused because I was concerned about something. Or I was trying to give you a free show. I have no idea. Or like the part you're talking about may actually be something that you can see if you're one of the supporters of NetHeads on Patreon, because it was probably part of the Patreon. Actually, I know it was, because if I didn't do it here live on the show, the moment you came back, I was already recording because I'm like, I got to wrap this up at a certain time. I don't care how we're going. It's a Saturday night. There's a lot of wonderful people in the chat. I see ZB, I see CF, I see Josh Mundal. Thank you guys. So nice to see you.
Slick saying CF.
Yeah, right. There we go.
I like that.
Sometimes you got to go for the abbreviation because you just don't want to say the dirty name out loud, kind of thing. Okay, well, I guess I wasn't really hiding it much there. But anyway, other than all of the bad stuff, what are some of the good things going on in your world right now, Tony?
I mean, well, let's just say it. My kid, we're a week and a half now. Almost, it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. No, in 2 days. 2 weeks and 2 days. My kid's doing well. He's happy. He's healthy. Um, for those of you who don't know, my kid now has a defibrillator for his heart condition, and it's funny because they always say like they'll last between 8 to 10 years, and we got the report back on the battery life and how it's working and on him, and they said it could be up to 13 years now that we have to wait until we have to change it out. So little things like that are really important. And then we have running water again, so that's a good thing. Always makes the holidays better. And then
if not, it aids in the holidays smelling more pleasant.
Yeah. And then in 2025, actually January 6th, I will be starting my new job. So that is something I'm very happy for.
Awesome, man. See, it's all in context. Things are going well,
Yes.
Things aren't going well. When my biggest turmoil, actually, I got to tell you, it is just kind of frustrating the way things time out because, look, everybody's got problems. I got problems of my own. And every once in a while, it means that I'm able to make plans to do things, but then I'm just not able to get them done. Like I'm midway through a project in the garage, but because of one thing or another, I keep getting waylaid from being able to handle it right down to, yeah, you're not lifting anything heavy right now. with that.
Right.
Don't
Which
even think
of
about it.
course you need to do that. But like this would be a good time for you to do the little things that you know,
Yeah,
you
but I got
couldn't
the
do.
next 2 weeks off, man. I want to finish this garage thing. Because, although I will say, too, that I'm very pleased whenever I can find in all the stuff that I have something that I can actually use and use it in a better way, even if it's something just incredibly dumb and simple. I'm sure you'll have something like this in yours, but let me just grab this. This of all things, this is just a gooseneck with a camera attachment on it. And then from some other purchase, here's an extension. And from yet another purchase, here's a phone mount.
Mhm.
And I discovered with this exact configuration now, this nutty shape you see here, if I clip this to a certain point on my arm, then I have the exact angle that I want to shoot vertical video on. The distance, everything, the framing,
Yeah.
perfect. And that was from 3 pieces of junk I had laying around the house.
Nice.
You know what? If the apocalypse happens tomorrow, I might be okay. Just saying.
That's the thing. Like maybe you're the same way as I am. I have so many unfinished projects that if I couldn't get out, like if we, God forbid, had another, long bout of locking in, I would be busy for a good long while.
Oh yeah,
Um,
oh yeah. If there was some reason we all had to shut in again,
oh yeah.
yeah, that's a clean way of putting it. Is that where we are at the point in society that we're starting to not say, heaven forbid there were another lockdown, but I sure got a lot of stuff done when I couldn't go anywhere.
Listen, I know a lot of people have, and I know a lot of bad stuff happened during the pandemic. I built a computer. I built this space. I got on TikTok and actually made content and met people like you, and all of my friends. Because let's face it, I don't have real friends. I have you guys.
Now wait a second. I may be taking umbrage with something, sir.
You are a close and dear friend. But I will say this: we have never met in person yet. So there's like something about that solidification that is so important. I'm not saying you're not a real friend. I'm just saying like we
Thank
haven't
you.
physically met in person yet. That's like that's the last thing at this point.
And that is fair enough. That I'm willing to accept. That is okay. But like not a real friend. It's like, well, gee, okay.
Oh, you're the realest of friends. Like there are
Just
friends.
I'm
I,
gonna
I,
stop. I'm gonna stop sending this random check-in bullshit. Then, if that's where we're at, I'm a fake friend. Hell with you.
you're not a fake friend. I love you,
That
Will.
is no way to kick off. That's no way to kick off the jingle balls, my friend. I don't know why I keep saying balls. Those are clearly bells. But it's Jingle Balls 2024, which means, if we're still awkwardly splitting netheads between the two parents or whatever the hell it is, then we'll have Jingle Balls 2025. Maybe by then we'll have figured out what it is, though.
Yeah, exactly. And I will be honest with you, with my recent anime watching history, you keep saying balls, and that's all I think of. So
Okay, fair enough.
just go watch Dan to Dan. I promise you won't regret it.
Go watch
You
what?
might watch Dan to Dan.
What?
Are you making me say it on purpose?
No, I'm really not. I'm sitting here looking at
Dan
you.
da Dan.
Dan the Dan?
Dan da Dan.
Dan da Dan.
Yes.
Dan, I really wish I was like so clever on OBS right now that I could just suddenly say like Dan da Dan, and then you would say yes because you would be seeing the whole
And
time.
I will say this. Don't watch it with Blair. And it's not because it's like super inappropriate. It's more of like you don't have that conversation, like explaining things. I'm just saying that. And it's on Netflix. If you want to watch it on Netflix, you don't need Crunchyroll. Go watch Dan to Dan.
Okay.
At least the first episode. And I don't even know if you've ever watched anime and enjoyed it. So this is like a big request.
I mean, stranger things have happened.
Especially with
Insomnia could
Netflix.
hit one night and like, what did that guy talk about? Sitting there 3 a.m. going, why would he think I want to watch this?
You will probably say that.
I don't know. All I know is, sometimes people surprise you though, because like I have a good friend, known for a very long time, and I sent him like all 6 of the first episodes of Rick and Morty. I'm like, oh, you got to see this, and he wrote back, and it blew my mind. He's just like, I just don't get it. I'm like, oh, okay, wow,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was shocked and aghast. So I know how that feeling could be. I appreciate you putting yourself out there. I want to hear the bells again. They bring me happiness, Tony. They bring me joy. They bring me content. I don't know what you guys have in the way of holiday traditions. Obviously, mine are a bit Christmas based, but
Does it involve baking?
No, well, no, because not really supposed to have the sugar or fiber or fun. Thanks, intestines. But yeah, they're going to be baking on Monday, so I'm just going to be effing off. But it's like what I need is to come out of this weekend strong, Tony, and go into this Christmas strong, because I have the next 2 weeks off to get things done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the inverse of Clark Griswold in Christmas Vacation. I'm not trying to get lights up around the house. I'm just trying to get things done around the house. And I just realized the inflatables out front, they tax me, my friend. They task me, and I will have them. They keep either blowing out of the type of yardstake they came with or what have you. And I just realized, while I'm sitting here with you, because I'm like, oh yeah, it's a perfect time. My wife is at Nutcracker, everything else. If those inflatables are not standing up when that woman comes down this street, there will be hell to pay. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Like when I said 6:45, this may be the shortest episode of NetHeads to happen in a long damn time. Look, guys, I love my wife. She doesn't do anything negatively to me, but it's a point of contention. If every time you're out in your own front yard, you see that because mind you, there's a Jack Skellington with 0 next to him on a package. And if he did not miraculously stand up, right now he is face down in the mud, Tony. That's what he's doing. Just leaning forward, almost completely inflated, face down in the mud.
And the inflatable material, though it seems like it would be weatherproof and it would be able to withstand a lot of things, if you get it in the mud, in a lot of cases, it takes a lot to get them clean.
Well, I mean, because you have to inflate it and you have to blast them down. Welcome to Inflatable Yard Care. My name is Will. Walking
To blow them up and
ways that we
blast them
can-
down.
Today, we're going to go ahead and show you the best way to clean your inflatables for long-term storage. No.
No, because
occasionally I think-
that search history could be mixed up with something else when we're talking about,
Good point. Good
yeah.
point. What kind of spray was he looking for? I don't want to get into it. But the other thing, too, is it has been raining here today, which means the other thing that they have to combat with, because I don't leave them on, which is the saddest thing and the worst thing about inflatables, by the way, is like the dead holiday decoration yard that you drive by during the day when people don't have their inflatables on because it's not nighttime. It's like the light control controls them all. So you've got sad Santa face first into the ass of his reindeer, or in this case, there's the hot cocoa cup with probably the gingerbread man burying his face in the marshmallows or whatever. So those are going to be tipped over, and I'll be goddamned if they are going to be when she gets home. Okay, because I was supposed to stake them, and that is something I could have conceivably done in the last 2 hours instead of this.
Yeah, see, we've got inflatables, and I haven't put them up in a couple of years. And the worst part was the fact of like, you think they're the easiest decoration to put up, and then you get to the end of the season and you look at it and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm stuffing this in some corner. Like I'm not trying to make this thing look good. And then you come back the next year and it's got rings that look like, like Santa pooped himself or
Yeah,
something
there's
else.
well, okay, but you see, that's why I literally do. I inflate them and then I hose them down, and then they just get to run in the garage for hours as they supposedly dry themselves. If they're, I live in California, so thankfully, if there's sun, I can set them out running with that. So they've been cleaned off, and then we'll get them put away dry, not road hard and put away wet. So there's that. But the other thing with the rain that you got to compete with it, I mean, like maybe I might be getting the cleaning I'm looking for right now, but before they blew up, I'm sure there's uneven distribution of water, so they can get like heavy in certain parts. Like one time, Santa on his sleigh that we've got, and his two wonderful reindeer that he was just very intimate with moments before inflating, is now like weighed down by his head and leaning over. And you're like, I think Santa's about to puke. This does not look good. I got to be honest, man. I hate the inflatables. I hate them. I love them when they're like of a very cool theme, okay? Something generic like my Santa and his two reindeer, it's Bush League and it's lame. If I don't have an AT-AT or a Yoda or something,
Mhm.
why am I even doing it? Jack Skellington is kind of like getting halfway there, maybe.
I'm telling you though, that Vader animatronic that they had at Halloween that kind of translated over to Christmas.
Yeah, but then if it's something nice like that, I'm not sticking in. I mean, like because I don't want people walking by my yard messing with stuff, right? So
Yeah.
then it's just gonna be in the house.
Or you put it on your porch where people can't really get to it.
Okay, maybe. I do have a
If you have a
porch. I could
porch
do
that
that. I
has like
do.
hey, there's a railing, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, railing recesses from the walkway.
Like
Set
just
out
block it
some
off with a table or something so people can't walk over to it.
perimeter lasers.
You could 3D
You know.
print some TIE fighters and have them like hanging from the top around him.
Let me tell you something, man. 3D printing is one of the most frustrating but funnest things in the world. Ooh, did we print this?
We printed this. I'm not done painting it, but yeah, this is a D&D windmill
Oh my
with a
gosh.
little doo 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 doo.
See, that's nice. Well, like I mentioned earlier, the gift wrap tube holders for the clips that I'm
Mhm.
printing up. And got those rocking. I got another thing I'm working on, but I can't talk about it.
Okay.
It involves, well, I can't talk about it. All
Okay.
I can tell you is that my good, not my good buddy, but Stephen the Lightspeed on TikTok and socials, he developed on his Patreon a what did they make? It looks like a crocheted elf, like an elf on a
Oh,
shelf, but it's also
wait.
articulated.
Isn't he the one that gets like a lot of like big 3D printers and stuff?
Well, I was like the fun. What is the SL? No.
You said Steve, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm friends with him too.
Anyway, he came up with that. So there are reasons I'm printing one of those out, and he had just a great file, easy to work with. But it's just amazing how much I can also like quickly switch gears from from something nonsensical like that to, you know what, the uh, what do they call that? The purge that it gets rid of between changing colors and stuff.
Mhm.
It that stuff has to be caught by something because it's continuously, expelling a little bit and then kicking it away. Unfortunately, they call it poop. I don't like that, but it is what it is. And I found a better one of those buckets. So instantly I go from, oh, I got to print this to, no, wait, I've got to print this because this is better and lower profile. It looks better. It's more practical. Let me
Mhm.
do that. And you just fall down a rabbit hole of
Oh
3D
yeah.
print creation. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
And then where
like
does it end?
I have like a folder on my computer that is just tons of stuff I've extracted from Thingiverse and Cold 3D and Yegi, and I maybe printed 10% of them. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm always wanting to 3D print something, and I because the water going out of the house, I haven't been able to really do 3D printing lately. So I'm glad to get that back up and running now. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, it's too addictive having this power. I'm not sure we deserved it. You know, we 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 were so busy wondering if we could. We didn't ask if we should.
But
And we
have you
stood on the
had
we stood on the shoulders of greatness to claim that which we don't have no right to.
But have you also seen you like you because you talked about the skimmer bucket in the summer that you were able to 3D print. Um but how many times do you end up needing something and 3D printing is always the last thing in your mind of how to fix the problem?
I would say that probably occurs 50% of the time.
I wish it were less. It's just like I was telling you before. I don't know if we talked about it on NetHeads. We had a Christmas tree that was missing a leg, and I went like trying to cannibalize trees that we weren't using, and none of them worked. And then I stopped and I thought, after about 3 days of trying to figure this out, I could just print. I could just 3D print a leg,
Yep.
and that's what I did. But I spent 3 full days trying to figure out where this freaking leg was coming from until I just printed it. And it only took like an hour.
Hey man, you know what? Sometimes life's a journey. I'm just saying. Sometimes it is what it is. But yeah, I will often I my big problem is actually 3D printing things to solve problems and then doing nothing with them. Just up here out of frame is a simple hat rack, like a 4-ring hat rack. You could
Mhm.
hang a coat on it too. I have many hats improperly stacked on this rack. I'm starting to sound like Dr. Seuss. Hold on a second. Let's break that speech pattern before I
Will,
keep
how much nog
dangerously.
was in that
Look,
cup there?
never you mind, sir. Don't you worry. Don't you fear. Underdog will soon be here. Um so I've got hats on racks, but I printed up an entire slew of of hat hangers that you could instead use a command strip with, and you could either hang a traditional hat upon it, or you could clip a baseball cap into it, right? So
Okay.
it's displayed bill forward. I have like 20 of those printed, but I think that falls into the unfinished projects thing you're talking about,
Oh
because
yeah. Yeah.
so I haven't done that. Oh, also, you know, you don't think about it. You don't consider it will take that long, but suddenly you think to yourself, you know what? I've got this Iron Man on my wall. I've got this Spider-Man on my wall. And we all saw me print a Deadpool helmet. So you get to dangerous thinking, like, if I can orient it this just right, I could probably just do one of my own of these Deadpool things. And because you have just enough knowledge to be dangerous, suddenly you discover 90 minutes have gone by while you've been making this easy thing. And you're still not even at the point of printing yet. Better yet, you go through all the pain of doing it, arranging the parts together so that way it'll print as one piece. You
Mhm.
go through all this, and you just, for some reason, did soft math in your head. And you said, well, if I was printing it at 107% to fit on this noggin, and it looks like this on the wall, it's got to be something like 75% of the original print size.
Yep.
And you're like, okay. And then you print the first piece and you pull it off the build plate and you go, I think Dairy Queen used to serve ice cream in something about this size. It's just not
My
all that big.
Magneto helmet. It's
Yeah, you're just like, why is it so tiny? What happened? What did I do? Where did
I
I
have
go
this
wrong?
I have this tiny Magneto helmet. It was the first one I printed, and it was meant to be kind of like a display piece, but I was like I was getting the sizes all wrong. I ended up making like 4 different Magneto helmets. None of them are finished. They're all sitting around. But yeah, I think also the worst thing is when you're looking at something and you see it's printed, it's a small print, and you're like, I wonder if I like max that thing out by 600%, or do it bigger, and what could I do then? And then you get into trouble.
That the fact that you've got a printer in the house, that threshold was already crossed. You're done.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then you build these things,
Right?
which I haven't even used it yet.
Well, yeah, I know because I'm waiting
I
for a result set.
I printed it, I glued it together, and then I put it down, and then completely forgot about it because of all of the stuff with my kid's surgery. So I just picked them up on the way to sitting down here before I got on the video with you, and I was like, oh yeah, I should show Will that I have them and I haven't used them yet.
Yeah, well, that's good because then I can. It's all right. It'll just be tacked on to the large list of undeliverables through the mail that haven't come
Yeah,
yet. Because they're there.
just gotta hurry before the USPS privatizes.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. Why you got to bring me down, man? Why you got to bring me down?
because it sounds like you're buzzed a little bit. So
No, but you just got to throw. Look, man, don't judge me. This is the Jingle Balls. All right. We didn't even get to the last true act of Jingle Ball spirit. We're not going to do that now. We don't have time. You wasted it rambling on about all your 3D printing nonsense. Nobody wants to
Oh,
hear.
I'm
about.
the only one that was talking about 3D printing. I see how it
No,
is.
it was me. We
Uh-huh.
lost everybody. But like I said, they're inflatables that need to be dealt with, Tony. And I'm not saying I'm a fearful man, but I'll be goddamned if those things are not up in the right direction when my wife drives up to this house. Because it's just, look, you don't need to poke the bear when you've got many uncompleted things. You don't need to poke the bear that this one goddamn thing can't be right. Okay? You got to admit that. So I'm not going to court disaster. I'm going to avert disaster by rushing my tubby self out there.
Is that a nickname for your wife, Disaster?
No, that's probably a nickname she has for everything I touch. So.
Oh, that makes sense.
Fair enough. But you know what? I just wanted to make sure we got a holiday show in, to say the least. Have a chance to talk with you on, a comfortable, un-NetHeads like NetHeads agenda. But I look forward to talking to you after the holidays, because apparently I'm going to have an Aura 4 ring. So we'll start getting more data on why I'm fat, I guess. Huh. I look forward to that. And of course, there are the potential of new robots on the horizon here as well. There's at least one that I backed that started shipping, so that's forthcoming.
That's exciting.
Right? And then shortly after that, there'll be another one. And then, oh my gosh, that's right. Thanks to my good friend Tony and many others, in 2025, I think I have to look forward to Butterbot as well. So we got a lot of stuff that'll be going on with NetHeads in 2025. So if this is the last show of 2024, I just want to tell everyone to please be safe, be mindful. Remember, we're all just people. And also remember, since the holidays are tough for a lot of people, there's always someone to talk to. All right. So you can search out suicide hotlines anywhere in your area. So, just remember, there's always someone to talk to. And, all that said, of course, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever deity you follow, whatever dogma you live by, have a good time during this time, which is like the coldest and darkest of the year. And finally, just the lazy Merry Christmas as you're sitting in a frame
happy
with
Chris Mahana
bulbs.
Kwanzaa.
There you go. Wasn't that like from the OC?
I think so. I don't even remember.
I think
anymore.
it was because my wife recently finally watched that show for some reason. Because eventually you find out you're at the point where I'm just like, I'm watching the OC. But until next time, guys, my name is Will.
And I'm Tony.
And this has been the official first edition of the NetHeads jingle balls. I hope your balls have been jingled because mine have, and I am now filled with that holiday spirit. Once again, I'm pondering, will this show be left up or will I be reviewing it later and pulling it down? We shall see. If it is the latter, congratulations.
We may just have to tuck it away later on.
Yeah, just never mind. Until next time, I'm Will.
I'm Tony.
And yeah, you know what? Maybe we'll be back soon. Okay? Yeah, that's the ticket.
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a Smodcast production. Smodcast Podcast, using our mouths on you since 2007.
And don't forget to have your pets spayed or neutered.
Yes.